Skyrim has been revitalized on occasion after occasion for over a decade by mods that reshape our Skyrim experience, whether that's by overhauling an entire location, giving it a fresh feel, by introducing a new creature into the world, or by equipping you with an armor set that perfectly fits your next character idea. These mods truly recreate and give Skyrim a new feel each time we play. So in this video, I'm going to present to you some of those very mods that have caught my eye over the previous months, and that will help you enhance your next Skyrim playthrough.
I choose this as our goal.
Creatures of Nerd.
All men are kings. If he breathes, he is sin.
Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Not Samson and Broom, all right? Bone bird.
First, we're going to look at some immersion mods to help your game feel more realistic and lifelike, starting with Shouts of Stallholders. This adds unique location-specific lines to Skyrim's market vendors, replacing their repetitive vanilla dialogue. Each merchant now has tailored shouts that reflect their goods and surroundings, enhancing immersion.
Come try the best game, all hunted by yours truly. Need the best meat in Skyrim? You can't beat my meat.
The mod also includes support for mod-added traders with vanilla voice types.
Come see my shiny trinkets. Great as a gift, or a treat for yourself.
It's lightweight, script-free, and ESL flagged, ensuring compatibility with other mods, compared to vanilla, which often has vendors repeating the same few lines. This mod offers a more dynamic and engaging shopping experience in each city's market area. Moving on, we have Skyforge Immersion add-on, which enhances the Skyforge in Whiterun by adding new, fully voiced dialogue and improving the effectiveness of weapons and armors crafted there. Unlike vanilla, which offers limited interaction and standard crafting results, this mod makes the Skyforge the best forge in Skyrim. To access the forge, players must now seek permission from Euroland, which can be earned by completing specific quests, such as becoming a member of the Circle.
But you won't see us with our noses in the air. Of course. Hail, companion.
Or completing the Missing in Action side quest.
But you won't see us with our noses in the air. Of course. I owe you a great deal.
If you have not completed one of these quests, he will deny you use of the Skyforge.
My poor Fralia thinks Thorin's still alive, but I know better. No, I don't think so.
This mod adds depth and lore-friendly progression to the Skyforge, making it a more integral part of the game. Now we head into the coast to take a look at Shores of Skyrim, Base Object Swapper. This is a mod that enhances Skyrim's coastal areas by replacing the default beach and shore clutter with more detailed and immersive assets. Unlike vanilla, which features sparse and repetitive coastal decorations, this mod introduces a variety of new objects such as shells, mussels, fishing gear, and coastal themed items, making the shores feel more lived in and dynamic. As you can see in these before and after shots, this mod really does add a new life to the coasts of Skyrim, as they were previously rather lifeless and bland. Luckily with this mod, your shores will no longer be bare and will have more life and feel more lived in. Next, we're going to take a look at a couple of visual and graphics mods, starting with Cathedral 3D Vanilla Tundra Grass, which gives Skyrim's tundra grass a much needed upgrade, without changing its original vibe. It replaces the flat vanilla grass with proper 3D models, so it actually looks like it's growing out the ground. The colours stay true to the vanilla palette, mostly dry, golden tones, but with a bit more depth and variation, which makes the landscape feel more natural and alive without looking too lush or out of place. It's a subtle but really effective improvement. The other mod is similar to the previous, however this time we'll be focusing on changing the grass in Eastmarch, with Cathedral 3D Vanilla Eastmarch Grass. This mod upgrades Skyrim's Eastmarch grass by turning the simple vanilla grass into full 3D models, much like the other mod. The colours stay pretty much the same muted browns and greens to match the volcanic, rugged vibe of Eastmarch, but with more depth and shape, so the grass looks less like a painted texture and more like real clumps growing around you. It's a subtle change that makes the landscape feel richer and more natural without losing that classic Skyrim feel. Now we're going to take a look at a group of location mods, which help to transform the previously simple places into something far more interesting. First, we will check out some interior changes to smaller, more common locations. Snazzy Interiors, Calixto's House of Curiosities, renovates the vanilla House of Curiosities in Windhelm, transforming it from a dark, cluttered space into a more inviting and visually appealing museum. The mod enhances lighting, reorganizes exhibits, and adds decorative touches, creating a more immersive and aesthetically pleasing environment, compared to the original, which often felt cramped and dimly lit. This mod offers a brighter, more organised space that better showcases the curiosities within. This mod really brings this museum to life, making it a far more interesting location to look around, in a subtle yet effective improvement for players interested in exploring Windhelm's lesser known locations. Next is Snazzy Interiors, Darkwater Crossing, Werner and Annick's house, which transforms the vanilla home by brightening the lighting, rearranging the layout, and adjusting plenty of new furniture and clutter to make the space feel truly lived in. Compared to the original, which felt pretty empty and plain, this mod fills the house with everyday items like books, kitchenware, personal effects, and decorative touches that bring out the characters' personalities. The added clutter isn't just for looks, it helps create a cozy, believable home that fits perfectly with the atmosphere of Darkwater Crossing, making it a much nicer place to visit. Our final location mod from this series is Snazzy Interiors Frostfruit Inn, which changes the Frostfruit Inn in Rorikstead from a basic, dimly lit space into a cozy, immersive tavern. This mod has a variety of new furniture, clutter, and decorative elements, making the inn feel more lived in and atmospheric. It introduces a two-way fireplace, adds doors to rooms, and even includes a basement with additional rooms and a bathing area. Compared to Vanilla, which was quite plain and lacked character, this mod offers a detailed and engaging environment for players to sit and enjoy an ale and a warm meal. Now we'll take a look at a few mods that seriously improve 3 Hagraven locations into something truly spectacular. The first of the 3 locations is Hag, Occult Orphan Rock, which completely reimagines the vanilla Orphan Rock area near the Pale's west coast, turning it from a pretty basic landmark into a dark, atmospheric location packed with creepy details. The giant tree that sits atop the rock becomes this ominous, towering presence, covered in strange occult symbols and markings that hint at some kind of dark ritual or forgotten power. These before and afters really showed the transformation to this once plain location. What really sets its overhaul apart is the hollow trunk of the tree, which hides a secret portal leading down into an underground layer. This layer is home to dangerous Hagravens, but it's not just them you'll have to watch out for. Skeevers infest the tunnels, adding an extra layer of threat and unease as you explore. The whole area feels alive with danger and mystery, and is generally just a big step up from the vanilla's quiet, empty version. Next we're moving over to the Witchmist Grove, which categorically transforms the vanilla Witchmist Grove into a much darker and more atmospheric spot. The mod adds creepy symbols scattered throughout the area, along with eerie lighting and fog that gives the whole place a mysterious, unsettling vibe. It really amps up the feeling that this isn't just some quiet grove, it's a place tied to dark rituals and hidden secrets, opposed to vanilla, which feels pretty plain and quiet. This overhaul makes the grove feel like an important, ominous location that fits well with Skyrim's darker lore. This spooky area now tells a story without words, and the mod gives Witchmist Grove a much needed mood boost that makes wandering through it way more memorable. Finally, we have Occult Cradlestone Tower, which is a full overhaul of the Cradlestone Tower, turning it into a dark, unsettling location that feels like it's been overtaken by Forsworn and Hagravens. The mod reworks the area to give the impression that the Forsworn are using the tower for occult rituals, with the new environmental details that reflects this eerie theme. At the top of the tower, a massive twisted tree is introduced, and it seems to be the center of these dark rituals or prayers. The area is filled with ominous symbols, strange altars, and the sense of something sinister is unfolding here. Compared to the original, which is fairly straightforward, this overhaul adds layers of atmosphere and narrative, making it feel like a place tied to dark magic and Forsworn's unsettling practices. Moving on, we have JK's Raven Rock, which takes the settlement and gives it a complete overhaul, turning it into a far more dynamic and detailed location. One of the most notable changes is the addition of towering walls surrounding the entire perimeter of Raven Rock, giving the town a fortified, secure feel as though it has been built to withstand the dangers of Solstheim. The docks area has been revamped with more boats, clutter, and a sense of activity, making it feel like a true working port rather than just a quiet corner of the island. A major highlight is the Raven Rock Temple, which now features 2 grand new sculptures of Daedric princes outside, making it an even more imposing structure that stands out in the landscape. These additions really make the temple feel like a place of power and significance to the town, tying it more closely to Solstheim's dark history and the influence of Daedric lords in the Dunmer culture. The rest of the town has been filled with more life, more NPCs wander the streets, new vendors have set up shop, and small details like additional clutter, furniture, and improved lighting really bring the place to life. Now for a smaller scale mod, which is Ivy Iverstead Well add-on. The mod author has added a cute brand new well to the town of Iverstead, a feature that's completely missing in the vanilla game. This mod places the well near the centre of the village, giving it a more natural rustic feel. The well itself is surrounded by ivy, moss and other natural elements to make it look like it's been part of the village for a long time. It's a great little addition for anyone who wants to give Iverstead a bit more character, making it feel like a complete place as you pass through. Our final location is a player home, and something I'm and many of you will be a big fan of. Sack End, a hobbit home, adds a cozy hobbit-inspired retreat located just outside of Riverwood. The home is designed with a charming, homely aesthetic that captures the feel of Middle-earth. Nestled into the hillside, the house features a curved, natural exterior surrounded by lush greenery and a small garden, making it feel like a hidden gem in the landscape. Left outside is a note explaining how to gain access to your new home. Inside, the home is warm and inviting, with a hearth, comfy furnishing, and a variety of Hobbit-inspired touches, including unique books and paintings that reflect the whimsical nature of Hobbit life. Overall, the space feels lived in, with clutter, cooking supplies, and small decorative items, adding to its rustic charm. The home also has a functional basement that's equipped with a blacksmith forge and an enchanting station, giving you all the tools you need for crafting and enchanting items. This makes Sack End not only a peaceful retreat, but also a practical base for any adventurer. If you're looking to make a quiet escape or a fully equipped home to handle your crafting needs, this mod gives you the best of both worlds with a cozy Hobbit-inspired design that stands out from the usual larger Skyrim homes. Now for a couple of gameplay mods which will help enhance our game by introducing new mechanics, starting with Exit Sneak on Sprint, which is a simple yet highly practical mod that automatically exits sneak mode when you start sprinting. With this mod, as soon as you hit the sprint key, it forces you to stand up and exit sneaking, making movement feel more fluid and natural. Next we have a more complex gameplay mod, Dead by Dining, a dynamic food and poisoning system. This lets you play with food in whole new, devious ways. The process itself is straightforward. Simply press a hotkey when hovering over any food or drink item, and a menu will pop up where you can select what to poison that food with. Once you've poisoned the food, you can leave it somewhere conspicuous for an unsuspecting NPC to find. All you need to do is leave it on a table and watch from the shadows as your target unknowingly consumes your deadly treat. This mod is super fun and adds a sinister layer to the world of culinary creations, allowing you to poison any food or drink item to sow chaos, betray allies, or even eliminate powerful NPCs. Maybe you're looking to take revenge on a noble, sabotage an enemy, or play a cruel prank on a trusted companion. This mod gives you all the tools to poison with precision. Dead by Dining offers a variety of options for poisoning, including poisons, venoms, skooma, sleep and tree sap, and even more devious concoctions. These substances can be added to any food and drink you find, giving you the power to decide when and how to strike. But beware, this mod introduces a real element of risk. If you're caught poisoning someone, NPCs will quickly figure out your malicious intent. Guards and fellow townsfolk won't hesitate to turn hostile if they catch wind of your actions, and your reputation in the area will certainly take a hit. Next, let's move on to some new creatures, and to start we have Chubloons by Mihail, who has introduced a quirky and unique new creature to Skyrim. The mod adds the Chubloon, a large amphibious bird that adds a touch of weirdness to the game's fauna. These creatures can be found in various bodies of water across the northern coasts of Skyrim, adding a lively and somewhat comical presence to the landscape. Their design is based on a chubby, round-bodied bird with a large beak, which contrasts nicely with the more serious or threatening creatures found elsewhere in the game. Now for the Molten Forgemaster Replacer. This replaces the vanilla Forgemaster with a brand new Molten-themed creature. This fiery beast, inspired by molten rock and lava, adds a whole new visual and combat experience to Skyrim's world. Instead of the original Forgemaster, you'll now face a creature covered in molten armor, with glowing magma seeping from the cracks in its body. The mod gives a creature a more imposing, dangerous appearance that fits perfectly with the idea of a Dwemer Forgemaster, but with a more intense fiery theme. Next is everyone's favourite creature in Skyrim. Fourth Unknown's diverse dragons take Skyrim's dragons to a whole new level, making them feel as terrifying and legendary as they should be. With over 50 unique skins, this mod replaces the vanilla dragons with massive, visually striking creatures that truly stand out. From molten rock behemoths to ice-covered giants, each dragon looks distinct and formidable, making every encounter feel like a truly epic battle. These aren't just ordinary dragons, they're the most fearsome creatures in Skyrim, designed to make you think twice before challenging them. On top of this, each dragon also comes with its own set of abilities and elemental powers, ranging from fire and frost to more exotic abilities that force you to rethink your tactics. With so many variations, no two fights will ever be the same again. This mod adds an unpredictability to dragon encounters, turning them into high-stake battles that you never know exactly what to expect. Now when you're hunting them or running for cover, these dragons are always a spectacle, and they'll make sure that every dragon encounter remains fresh and challenging. If you want dragons that are as legendary as the tales told about them, this mod is definitely a must. Now for one of the major parts of Elder Scrolls, which is magic. First we have immersive illusion spells, which takes the illusion school of magic far beyond its usual calming whispers and fear-inducing tricks, transforming it into something darker, stranger, and far more devious. Instead of simply influencing behavior from a distance, these spells worm their ways into the psyche of your enemies, bending their thoughts, senses, and very sense of control. It's not about brute force, it's about psychological domination, slowly unraveling your foe's sanity until they're no longer sure what's real and what's not. In this showcase, we're going to show off 4 of the spells available within this mod, but there are many more to discover for yourself. Take Stumble, for example. It doesn't just trip up an opponent, it scrambles their mind long enough that their body betrays them, sending them crashing clumsily to the ground in a haste of confusion. It's subtle but humiliating, and in battle, that single lost moment can mean everything. Then there's Mirage, which distorts perception entirely, surrounding your enemy with illusory doubles of yourself. Then lash out at shadows, unable to tell truth from trickery, while you move freely in the chaos. It's kind of psychological warfare as much as it is magical combat. Delirium pushes this to a cruel extreme, stripping your foes of agency altogether and forcing them into a grotesque display of dancing madness. They become little more than puppets on strings, compelled to move in ways they can't resist. Watching a hostile warband reduced to a stumbling chorus line is as disturbing as it is effective, and the spell leaves no doubt that you're not just fighting their bodies, you're shattering their dignity and their minds. And then there comes the pinnacle of illusion, mind control. This spell doesn't merely influence thought, it steals it outright. You slip inside their consciousness, seizing control of their body, and forcing them to act as your vessel. They become a prisoner in their own skin, powerless as you move them. Few things in Skyrim are as chilling as watching your own allies turn on you, only to realize they're not acting of their own free will. They're nothing more than toys in the hands of a merciless illusionist, who can even march them to their own doom. The next mod we have is Light Magic VFX Edit, which is a visual overhaul that takes Skyrim's most basic light spells and makes them feel genuinely magical. Instead of a dull glowing orb that looks more like floating lanterns, this mod reimagines them with richer meshes, layered particles and softer yet more vibrant lighting, and the result speaks for itself. Candlelight and Mage Light finally look like spells worth casting, with effects that transform a dark area into something atmospheric, instead of outright making most lighting look worse, which the vanilla usually does. Candlelight benefits the most from the upgrade. In vanilla, it's little more than a hovering torch, but with new effects it becomes a radiant sphere of shifting light that pulses as if it's alive. The glow feels warmer and more natural, spreading more believability around you, and it gives the impression that you're carrying a real magical presence through the dark. It makes the dungeon crawling and night exploration feel less like switching on a light bulb and more like conjuring a mystical flame to guide the way. Mage Light also receives a dramatic improvement. The projectile now flares as it launches, leaving behind an arc of energy that looks far more impactful than the vanilla spell. When it strikes a surface, the resultant light isn't just a static dot, it blossoms into a vibrant, lingering glow that transforms the space around it. Casting it now suddenly feels cinematic, and watching that little beacon of light burn is very satisfying. Together, these changes don't really alter the mechanics of Skyrim's light magic, but they do completely reshape how it feels to use, which is kind of the point with summonable lights. Now for the texture and meshes overhaul section of this video, starting with Common Clothing Retexture SE, which is a massive retexturing project that revisits nearly all the non-armor clothing in the game and gives them a visual upgrade without losing the soul of the original. If you've ever thought Skyrim's commoner outfits looked a little flat or dull compared to the more polished armors, this mod tries to close that gap. The idea isn't to replicate the costumes, but to make them feel more lived in. Richer fabrics where appropriate, subtle wear and dirt on working class clothes, more vibrant, detailed textures on fine or noble outfits, but it still keeps the original designs recognizable. Next is Icy Cave Remaster, which completely refreshes the look and feel of Skyrim's frozen caverns, turning them into places that feel both dangerous and beautiful. The ice now has depth and clarity, catching the light in a way that makes you feel like the walls shimmer and the floors glisten underfoot. Walking into one of these caves, you immediately notice the difference. The air kind of feels colder, the shadows sharper, and the glittering surfaces make the space feel alive rather than flat. Overall, this mod makes exploring Skyrim's icy depths much more interesting, instead of being just another dungeon type. Moving on, we have HF's Strongbox Diversification. This is a small but thoughtful texture mod that reworks Skyrim strongboxes. In vanilla, every strongbox looks exactly the same, which makes them feel more like generic game assets rather than real objects scattered throughout the world. This mod fixes that by introducing variety. Instead of just a standard strongbox, you'll now find different models, like iron or wooden versions, which are quite visually impressive and have a lot of character about them. The wooden one in particular is extremely detailed and shows that it should be holding something that is highly valuable. Next, a very visually pleasing mod in my opinion. Sky King's Potent Potions and Poisons give Skyrim's potions and poison bottles a complete makeover, turning what used to be some of the game's most generic items into eye-catching little works of art. Instead of dull, blocky models, you'll see sleek glass bottles with more convincing shapes, clear reflections, and liquids that actually look like something you'd want to drink, or avoid. Many of the potions also glow softly, especially in darker spaces, which makes finding them on shelves or tables much more satisfying. Next up is Snazzy Noble Cupboards. This is one of those mods that kind of sneaks up on you. You won't notice its absence, but once you've downloaded it, you'll wonder how you ever played without it. What it does is take every single vanilla noble cupboard, nightstand, and wardrobe chest, and randomly replaces them with one of 15 custom detailed versions. Each variant is filled with visible clothing and items that you can see inside the mesh, and the doors swing open all the way so you can glimpse the contents before entering the loot menu. This is one of those really cool little mods that adds a massive touch of immersion to the game, and honestly, once you play with it, you'll never want to uninstall. Now for logical rope bridges, Suspension of Spans, which gives Skyrim's rope bridges a touch of realism and craftsmanship that makes them feel more authentic. In vanilla, the bridges do their job well enough, but they've always leaned more on a stylized look. The mod refines them so the ropes and planks appear properly connected, with support lines that actually look like they're holding the weight of the span, whatever a span is. The result is subtle, but it makes every crossing feel sturdier and more believable. Next is Reimagine Mountain Flowers. This takes one of Skyrim's most common plants, the mountain flowers, and gives them a fresh identity. Instead of the same basic model painted in different colours, each variety is replaced with a distinct flower species that better fits the harsh yet beautiful world of Skyrim. The blue mountain flower is reimagined as Blue Lapine, a tall, spiked flower with layered petals that stands out clearly against the grassy meadows or rocky slopes. Its shape feels more structured and realistic than the vanilla cluster, and when you find whole patches of lupine scattered through Skyrim, they lend the landscape a sense of wild alpine beauty. The purple mountain flower is replaced with Periwinkle, a smaller and subtler bloom that brings gentle violet tones to Skyrim's fields. Instead of the bold, cartoonish colouring of the vanilla flower, Periwinkle feels more grounded, with petals that blend naturally into the surrounding grass, while still adding a noticeable splash of colour. The red mountain flower becomes a poppy. Poppies carry a fragile, fleeting look that makes them feel precious in Skyrim's rugged environments, adding a touch of warmth and vibrancy wherever they grow. And finally, the yellow mountain flower is now a dandelion, a simple but instantly recognisable flower. They help ground Skyrim's flora in something that feels both believable and charming, and seeing them scattered across the landscapes makes the world feel less like a painted backdrop and more like a living ecosystem. Our final mod in this section is Diverse Grindstones, which sneaks some welcome variety into Skyrim's blacksmithing workshop. Rather than every grindstone looking the same wherever you go, this mod introduces several different styles. You'll notice subtle differences in shape, material, and decoration that makes each forge feel a little more unique. There are currently 7 different models scattered around the world. Some use more weathered stone, while others use more polished metal or wood. These changes give each smith a bit of character. One forge might look more rustic and worn, another more maintained and precise, which helps give more variety to each blacksmith. Moving on to the animation mods in this video. First-person stagger animation remade adjusts Skyrim's first-person stagger animation to make combat feel much more responsive. In vanilla, stagger animations can feel long and kind of drawn out, leaving your character seemingly frozen for over 2 seconds. This mod reduces that duration significantly, allowing players to recover faster and keep the action flowing without disrupting the immersion of being in first person. This change is particularly noticeable when you're in combat, where timing and reaction matter the most. When your character is struck, the new stagger animation feels smoother and more natural, improving the overall rhythm of fights and making the stagger-heavy combat feel less frustrating. Next is Smooth Moveset OAR, which completely revitalized Skyrim's character animations, making both combat and idle stances feel fluid and lifelike. One of its standout features that I like the most is that each weapon now has a unique idle pose, when no enemies are nearby. Swords, axes, bows, and daggers all look and feel distinct, giving your character a subtle personality even when you're standing still. With this mod, combat transitions are pretty seamless. Drawing a weapon smoothly moves the player into an appropriate stance, and after finishing a fight, the character automatically returns to the passive mode with the correct idle pose. Likewise, when an enemy approaches, the player automatically switches back into attack mode, creating a natural flow between passive and combat states. There's a lot of new animations included in Smooth Moveset, so I'd recommend playing it for yourself, but it really enhances realism by making every action, from standing idle to engaging in battle, look intentional and polished. It's a change that makes both exploration and combat feel more cinematic and responsive. Up next are the armor and clothing mods for this video. First is HDT SMP Vanilla Armors. This mod enhances Skyrim's immersive experience by adding realistic physics to most vanilla armor sets. For example, the fur armor set now boasts flowing fur textures that react naturally to your character's movements. Whether you're sprinting through the snow or standing still, the fur shifts and sways, adding a tactile realism that was previously absent. The Falmer Heavy Armor has been given a new lease of life with the enhanced physics. Each piece responds to your character's actions, making the armor feel more integrated and alive. The classic steel plate armor set has been updated with realistic physics as well, allowing the heavy plates to move naturally with your character. And those are just a few examples of the many vanilla armors it replaces. With this mod, Skyrim's armors no longer feel like static models, but dynamic pieces that breathe with your character. Next up is the mod Eye Patch Part 1, which adds 3 different eye patches to Skyrim that you can craft at the Forge. They fit all races and genders, and are purely cosmetic, so they don't give you any armor or affect any stats. It's a simple way to add some more personality to your character without worrying about getting too overpowered. The Labourer's eye patch is the most basic of the 3, made from plain leather. The Cinderay eye patch is inspired by the elves of the Cinderay from World of Warcraft, which is why it boasts a bit more of a refined and sleek, elegant feeling. The Havi eye patch comes from the Havi in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It has a leather base with a gold accent, giving off a bold, heroic vibe, maybe something you'd craft later on in your playthrough as you get more leveled up. All 3 eye patches go in the face slot so you can wear them under your helmets if you want, and they're a simple, easy to craft addition to add some extra style to your character without messing with gameplay in any way. Next we have Rack's Headdress. This is a visual overhaul of the Forsworn fur headdress helmet, offering a more polished and realistic design while staying true to the original concept. This mod enhances the appearance of that Forsworn helmet, making it a more appealing choice for players who appreciate lore-friendly aesthetics. The updated design features rounded eye openings, eliminating the blocky Minecraft-like look of the original. The antlers have been reworked to appear more natural, and the inner padding addresses issues like bald spots and gaps, ensuring a better fit for both male and female characters. These improvements really contribute to a more realistic experience when encountering or playing as the Forsworn. The Berserker armor is designed for a wild, chaotic warrior type and fits both male and female characters. The top half is bare, giving a feral, unrestrained look, while the lower half is wrapped in leather straps and reinforced with metal that feels rugged and battle-ready. It's the kind of armor that looks like it belongs to someone who thrives in the thick of combat rather than sitting safely behind a shield. And our final armor and clothing mod is Grievous Rose, which is a striking vampiric themed outfit for female characters. It blends elegance with a dark, edgy style. The set includes a long, flowing dress, paired with bracelets, boots, and a hood. The dress has a dramatic silhouette that moves naturally in-game, giving your character a sense of presence even when standing still. The hood adds a mysterious, shadowy element, partially concealing the face and creating a more enigmatic look. The bracelets and boots are designed to match the dress, giving the whole outfit a cohesive and polished appearance without feeling over-accessorized. The outfit even comes in 6 colours: red, black, white, blue, burnt white, and purple, so you can tailor it to fit your character's personality or the mood of your playthrough. Additionally, for each colour variant, the bracelets change the flower type to match the appearance of each dress. Overall, a visually stunning outfit which fits the perfect attire for a vampiric playthrough. Now to equip your character with weapons worthy of the Dragonborn. First is a mod containing 2 beautiful daggers. Soul Piercer is a sleek, elegant dagger with a silver and ebony blade that catches the light with every swing. A faint blue glow runs along the edges, hinting at its frost-infused power, while the hilt is detailed with delicate silverwork that adds a refined, deadly touch. It's perfect for characters who strike with precision and speed, giving off a cold, calculated presence in combat. Doomfang has a darker, more aggressive design. The jagged Daedric-style blade glows with a deep red hue. The hilt is rugged and intimidating, emphasizing the raw power over finesse. This dagger is suited to characters who fight with ferocity, making each strike feel more brutal and decisive. Next is the Black Sword. This comes in both one- and two-handed variants. It has a silver blade with a clean, polished finish. The hilt is simple and understated, keeping the focus on the blade itself. The overall design is sleek and elegant, making it look both practical and striking. It has a presence that stands out in Skyrim without feeling over the top, giving your character a memorable weapon to use throughout their playthrough. Moving on, we have the Phoenix Glaive, which is also available as a pike or halberd, with its own glowing effects and particle animations. The blade features a polished silver finish, complemented by fiery red accents that pulse with energy. And finally, we have the Rose Sword. This adds a rough, battle-worn ebony sword to Skyrim, with a silver blade that looks sharp but rugged rather than polished. The hilt is decorated with rose motifs, adding a touch of elegance to the otherwise tough, gritty design. The combination of both the rough blade and the delicate roses makes the sword feel truly unique and visually interesting, giving your character a weapon that stands out without feeling overly fancy. Now for some UI mods to keep your HUD feeling fresh. The Tween Menu Overhaul is a visual overhaul of Skyrim's menu system designed to make navigation cleaner, smoother, and more appealing. It updates the Tween menu with a more organized layout and subtle enhancements, giving the interface a polished modern feel without straying from Skyrim's appeal. The classic version keeps the familiar menu layout but refines it with sharper fonts, better spacing, and subtle visual improvements. Quests, the map, and other menus are easier to read and navigate. The alternate version takes a bolder approach, with a more modernized layout and updated visual elements. Colors, icons, and spacing have been adjusted to give the menus a stylish, dynamic look, making the interface feel fresh and distinctive while still fitting seamlessly into the game world. Next is the Favorites menu effects description, which enhances Skyrim's Favorites menu by showing the detailed effects for spells, potions, food, and enchanted weapons directly in the Favorites menu. This makes it easier to see which item does what at a glance, without having to navigate to other menus. The mod also supports survival mode, adding relevant information for a more informed gameplay experience. Now we have Ethereal Skill Menu Overhaul, which gives Skyrim's skill menu a striking new look. The backgrounds and perk icons are redesigned with a dark, almost magical style, and the skill trees have subtle visual effects that make them feel more dynamic. Small animations make navigating feel more smoother and giving each skill tree a little more life. Even the constellation backgrounds behind the skills have been reworked with a smoky shift in texture. Perk stars and icons are sharper and more detailed, making it easier to read and giving the menus a sense of depth. Overall, it's a clean, visually interesting upgrade that makes checking your skills feel more engaging and just kind of looks nicer. Next for the audio segment. First is Magical Potion Sounds. This refreshes Skyrim's potion drinking experience by replacing the single vanilla consumption sound with 25 unique audio clips, which you can hear a few here. The mod also updates the poison use sound to better match the new audio. Each potion now has its own distinct sound, adding variety to your alchemical adventures. Next is Archcurate Verther Revoiced, which gives Verther a completely new voice.
Show yourself!
This mod makes him sound more distinct and fitting to his role as an ancient powerful vampire.
You only delay the inevitable.
The new performance adds personality and weight to his dialogue, making interactions with him feel more memorable and giving the character a stronger presence in Skyrim. And finally in our sound section is dragon-voiced word walls, which enhances the experience of learning shouts by adding over 50 unique lines spoken in dragon tongue to each word wall location. Each line corresponds to the specific word you're about to learn, providing a more immersive and lore-friendly experience. All dialogue was personally recorded by the mod author themselves. The mod also replaces all associated audio and music, offering a fresh auditory experience when interacting with word walls. The final segment in this video are the quest mods. Let's start with Before the End, which adds a quiet but memorable encounter to Skyrim. Instead of another dungeon crawl or large-scale questline, this mod focuses entirely on a single character, Aradel, a man locked away and awaiting his execution. When you stop to speak with him, the conversation is about his life, his choices, and the regrets that weigh heavily on him in his final hours. The dialogue is pretty grounded, and makes it feel quite personal, like you're listening to a real man reflect on the mistakes that brought him to this point. If you return the next day, you'll find his cell empty, a quiet detail that implies his execution has been carried out. It's a small, understated story, but one that can hit harder than many larger quests in the game. And our final mod in this showcase is Sleepwalking into a Nightmare. It's a quest that pulls you into a story that feels far more personal and unsettling than most Daedric adventures. It begins at a lonely cabin northeast of Iverstead, where you meet Ralphorn, a man terrified for his missing wife, Gretzka. He explains that she often slips away to spend more time alone, and asks you to check her usual spots, her fishing spot, her favourite archery spot, and the path she walks when she wants to clear her head. At first it feels like a simple search, but it quickly becomes clear something much darker is at play. After following her trail, you discover her journal, filled with entries that suggest she's been pulled into something beyond her control. Her words become more troubling the deeper you read, hinting at dreams that feel too real and a presence that won't let her go. Eventually the search leads you north into the icy waters of the Sea of Ghosts, where you find Gretzka's body lying unnaturally still. She isn't dead, but she isn't alive in the way you would expect either. She's trapped in a kind of dream state, unreachable by ordinary means. The only way to save her is to join her in the dream world. At a nearby altar, you're given the chance to lie down and fall asleep yourself, plunging headfirst into her nightmare. What follows is a journey through the dreamscape shaped by fear, regret, and the sinister hand of a Daedric prince. The world shifts around you as you move through it, blurring the line between memory and nightmare, forcing you to confront what's keeping her imprisoned. The quest isn't just about finding Gretzka, it's about deciding her fate once you do. Along the way, you'll uncover new locations, which will reveal Gretzka's fears and nightmares, and you'll have to relive through her eyes. By the time it's over, you'll feel like you've stepped out of someone else's nightmare, carrying with you the weight of the choices you made inside it. With all these incredible mods showcased today, hopefully you've found a few of interest that you'll include in your next playthrough. I really appreciate you sticking around for this video. If you made it this far, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Also be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.